Amanda's eyes snapped open. Her heart pounded, her breath quickening in the stillness of the dormitory. She could hear it again, soft, airy sobs like the sound of a child crying in the distance. No, not in the distance. It was coming from under her pillow. She sat upright, her hands trembling as she reached beneath her pillow. The biscuit Tina had given her earlier that day was there. The crying was coming from it. The biscuit is crying. Blood of Jesus! Amanda screamed, throwing the biscuit across the room in a panic. Amanda turned her head, only to see some of her roommates flying. She couldn't believe her eyes. Their faces were blank, eyes half closed, and they looked like they weren't aware of the fact that they were flying. And then Amanda felt it, the cold, tightening grip around her wrist. The bracelet Tina had given her earlier that day was glowing, pulling her upwards, and she was flying like the others. No, no, she shouted, but it was too late. Her feet lifted off the ground, and like the others, she was flying in the night like the witches in the novels she read. And that was how it began. It all started when Amanda was sent to St. Mary's Catholic Church, far from home, far from the life she once knew. Amanda's life changed suddenly when her parents decided to get a divorce. Her parents, once the picture of love and harmony, had fallen apart. One day they were hosting parties, laughing in the garden, and the next they were shouting, tearing at each other like strangers. Amanda, pack your things, her mother said one afternoon, her eyes red and swollen from crying. Why, mommy, where are we going? Amanda asked. Her mother didn't answer her. She walked out of the room and slammed the door. Her father was even worse. He barely spoke to anyone, locking himself inside his study for hours, leaving Amanda to wonder if they even remembered she existed. When the divorce papers were signed, it was as if her world crumbled. Her once warm and loving home now turned cold. I'm sending you to a boarding school, Amanda, her father announced one evening. It's for the best, he said. Boarding school? Amanda asked. She had heard stories, terrible stories about the place. The bullying, the loneliness, the strict rules. She couldn't imagine living away from her home, especially now that everything felt broken. Yes, St. Mary Catholic Church, her father confirmed, without looking up from his desk. It's a good school. You will enjoy the place, he said. Amanda wanted to cry. She wanted to shout, to beg him not to send her away. But the words caught in her throat. Her parents were too busy with their own lives, too consumed by their own pain to notice hers. So that was how Amanda found herself in the cold, unfamiliar halls of St. Mary's Catholic School, dragging her suitcase behind her as she stared at the big gate. The school was nothing like she had imagined. From the very moment she stepped her foot in the school, she could feel the weight of isolation pressing down on her. The girls at St. Mary's Catholic School weren't friendly. They didn't care about new students. All they cared about was power, status, and survival. Amanda learned that the hard way on her first day in the school dormitory. As she unpacked her provisions, Milo, milk, biscuits, everything her mother had carefully packed, a group of seniors barged in. Hey, new girl, one of them said, her voice dripping with condescension. You think you will keep all this to yourself? Before Amanda could answer, they slapped her, grabbed her key from her, opened the lockers and started tearing her things like vultures. Please, 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 that's mine, Amanda cried. One of the seniors, a tall, dark-skinned girl named Amaka, pushed Amanda aside with a cruel laugh. Not anymore, these are not yours anymore. Whatever you bring to this school belongs to the seniors, they said. That night, Amanda cried herself to sleep. It wasn't just about the stolen provisions. It was about the fact that she was alone. Her parents weren't there to comfort her, and the girls in school were as cold as the concrete walls. Things didn't get better. Day after day, she was bullied. Seniors forced her to run errands, clean their uniforms, and do their assignments. She was called rich girl in a mocking way, which constantly reminded her that her wealth meant nothing there. But there was one girl who was different. Tina was the most popular girl in the school, and unlike the others, she didn't seem to notice Amanda. She didn't bully her, didn't tease her. Instead, she walked through the school with an air of authority. Her long dark hair, always perfect, her uniform shorter than the rest of the girls, and her shoes shining like they were brand new. Everyone adored her. Teachers let her bend the rules, and girls flocked around her like bees to honey. She had a certain charm, an unexplainable power that made her the queen of St. Mary's Catholic School. Amanda watched from afar, wishing she could be like Tina, wishing she could have the same confidence, that same beauty Tina had. But Tina was out of reach. She had her own circle, her own group of friends, and Amanda was just invisible. Or so she thought. One day, during a particularly dull class, the teacher asked a question. No one seemed to know the answer to the question. Amanda hesitated, unsure if she should answer, but then slowly she raised her hand and answered. The room fell silent. Amanda could feel every eye on her, but most importantly, she could feel that Tina was looking at her. After class, Tina approached her for the very first time. "You're a really smart girl," Tina said with a smile that made Amanda's heart race. "Why don't we hang out?" Tina said. Amanda couldn't believe it. Tina wanted to be her friend. She was so excited. From that day on, things changed. Tina brought Amanda into her circle, including her to the other girls. They were kind, offering her gifts, making her feel like she finally belonged. And then, one afternoon, Tina gave her the biscuit. "It's special," Tina has said with a grin. "There's a bracelet inside. It means you are one of us now," she said. Amanda smiled, taking the biscuit gratefully. But something about it made her uneasy. The way Tina looked at her when she handed it over. The way other girls watched, as if they were waiting for something to happen. Still, Amanda wore the bracelet, and that night, she slipped the biscuit under her pillow, intending to eat it later, but she never got the chance to eat it. Now, floating in the cold night air, Amanda realized what that biscuit was really for. It's a curse, a trap. Tina wasn't just a popular girl, she was something more, something dangerous. They flew together through the darkness. Amanda's mind raced. How had she gotten herself into this? What did Tina want from her, and why was no one else fighting it? As they flew above the school grounds, Amanda could see the forest ahead of her. It was a thick forest that seemed very far away from the school. They were headed there, towards something unknown, something very terrifying. Amanda held on to her wrist, trying to resist the force pulling her up to the sky, but the bracelet on her wrist only tightened, its cold metal biting into her skin. Then suddenly they landed deep in the forest. Tina stood at the center, waiting for them. "Welcome, Amanda," Tina said, her voice sweet but with a heavy tone of authority. "You are finally one of us. Welcome to the angels of hell." Tina laughed. What will happen to Amanda next? Will she become a witch? Find out in part 2. If you enjoyed this story, give us a thumbs up, subscribe and share with your friends. Until next time, bye.